there's no child in there. It's still horrendous
it sends
to watch,
shivers.
isn't
It absolutely sends shivers. But it's a really good thing to watch for people who
Hold
just...
on, or break on.
Reminds you, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Time now, 12 minutes past 8.
And getting children to go to sleep can be a nightmare with smartphones, anxiety and a bad bedtime routine. But now one study's found it could be affecting how they actually do at school.
Well, researchers from the University of Leeds say that many primary school children aren't getting enough sleep. They're getting as little as 7 hours a night, despite NHS guidelines saying that they should have 10. Well, we've been talking to parents and children to find out a little more about their routines when it comes to sleep.
I go to sleep at 9 o'clock and get up at 7 in the morning.
He goes to bed at 7:30 and then he wakes up at 8 o'clock. He needs a lot of sleep.
I think she always slept like nearly 9 o'clock, 9, 10 o'clock and get up 7 o'clock. So she need to have like nearly almost 10 hours sleep.
She tells me to go to bed at 8 but stay up till about 11.
He's got an Xbox, yeah, so he plays on his Xbox. Turns it on in the middle of the night.
They have TVs in their room. They don't switch it on till in the weekends. That is when they use it.
I never bring my tablet onto my bed and my laptop stays under my pillow unless it's the day.
For like 8 to 9 hours sleep for school, yeah. Not a lot of my kids tend to like to sleep at night time, but we get there in the end.
OK, well, Dr Anna Whale is a cognitive psychologist from the University of Leeds who led the research. Thank you very much for coming in this morning. And you've also got, well, you've got 3 children, and a 13 and 8-year-old still at home, 18-year-old still at home.
Yeah.
So what's bedtime like for you?
Oh, it's dreadful when I get asked this question because I should be setting a good example. But my 13-year-old boy will admit that he does not particularly like bedtime. He'd rather stay up as late as possible. So, yeah, it's the general family chaos that I think we all have.
I don't know if it's so much as setting a bad example because you're trying to get them to get as much sleep. But this is the problem. There are so many distractions now.
Absolutely.
I mean, this is what parents are saying. As you hear, you've got smartphones, you've got tablets, you've got video games. I mean, actually, before all of that, I used to sneak the night lamp on and read until like 2 in the morning. Kids will always try to just stay out that little bit longer if they think something's important. How do you challenge that?
I think it is about having those conversations in a family, and I think what our research from the survey that we carried out, we talked to over 1,000 parents with children aged between 6 to 11 in a piece of research that was sponsored by Silentnight. And what we were interested in there was finding out what the challenges are at bedtime. And what we found was that really both parents and children are finding it difficult to get enough sleep. And I think you're absolutely right, Naga. It's the distractions at bedtime that I think are really a barrier to getting a good night's sleep.
So for children of that age, sort of 6 to 11, what ideal is 10 hours?
Yeah.
So if you say you're having an average of 7 hours, what sort of repercussions does that have?
Well, obviously, I mean, 7 hours sleep is barely enough for most adults. So for a child, it's really not enough at all. And we all know what a tired child looks like. So if you've got a tired 7-year-old, they're going to be a bit grumpy, a bit emotional. They've got less emotional regulation, more likely perhaps to snap or be tearful, less able to concentrate in the classroom.
Well, this is where it emanates the most clearly, isn't it? When it comes to their development and their academic progression or physical progression as well. How do you recognise then that a child isn't getting enough sleep over the long term?
Well, I think teachers will often notice that children seem tired in class. And of course, there are lots of things that can affect children's behaviour. But over the long term, I think if a child isn't getting enough sleep, not only are they struggling day to day in class, but it also affects their ability to consolidate the information they're learning during the day. So a child turning up for class one day being tired affects their ability to take in new information, but also their ability to then link in the information they learn during that day.
You lecture at university as well. I mean, I'm sure you get a few students a little bit older in the spectrum who struggle to stay awake as well for probably the same reasons.
Yeah, it's interesting. I often go into school and I obviously go into my own lectures with university students and I'll ask people to put up their hands how many hours sleep do you get. And actually, the students do better than you'd think. And I think that's because they often do say they get about 8 hours or so sleep.
But their days aren't as structured.
Exactly. And I think that although they might be up late, you know, we've just had Freshers Week and everything, they often will have a few days in the week where they can get up a little bit later. So their day's less structured. For a family with school-age kids, if you are getting those kids to school on time, mum and dad are going to be up between 6 and 7, and the kids need to be up soon after 7, and that means quite an early bedtime, which, given everything we've got going on in the evening, is really difficult.
But to underline it, because no one likes to be preached to, trying, at least try. But if everyone, you included, you're a doctor, you look at all of this carefully, you struggle as well.
Yeah, I'm really pleased you said that, because there's so many things that we as parents are meant to do, and, you know, there are reasons why those things are difficult, and I think at bedtime those things are difficult because there's so much else that's going on in an evening. So I think it's about supporting parents and kids through school to start thinking of sleep as an important priority and thinking of practical steps that we can take to all of us, adults and children, to get a better night's sleep.
Sure, there's some parents watching this thinking, you know, we don't struggle because we just don't let them have technology in the bedroom at night. There's no screens, no iPads, whatever it might be, no TVs, no computers. You can do it downstairs, but not when you go upstairs.
Our research confirms that. So where technology is not in the bedroom, children do sleep significantly longer. They have a longer sleep duration. There could be a lot of different explanations for that. It could be that parents that are able to do that, that takes quite a lot of resource, you know, quite a lot of ability to be firm.
Some will say be a parent.
Yeah.
Not your friend.
Yeah, but you know, if you're tired, you've had a bad day yourself, etc., these things all are challenges, aren't they? So I think there might be something about parents that feel able to do that and have those routines in their family. But I think it could also be that by just saying don't have it in the bedroom, that's going to immediately extend the gap between you trying to go to sleep and you having put your technology down, and that's probably going to make it easier to fall asleep.
Okay, very interesting.
Dr. Whaley, thank you very much. You know, I can imagine that Matt Taylor would never let any of that technology nonsense at night, and absolutely values the importance of